All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're decoding the absolute central hub of modern business intelligence, the data warehouse. So if you've ever wondered how these massive tech giants and global enterprises actually make sense of just mountains of digital information to chart their future course, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the core characteristics that make these data engines so incredibly powerful.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the CEO's data dilemma, then explore the three defining pillars: subject-oriented, integrated, and time-variant, and then we'll wrap up with a summary of one consistent truth. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The CEO's Data Dilemma. All right, I want you to imagine you're the CEO of a massive e-commerce company. Let's say Amazon. Just picture the sheer volume of activity for a second. You're watching literally thousands of daily operational transactions, orders being placed, payments processing, shipping trucks rolling out, inventory updating, and this is all flying by every single second. Now, your everyday operational databases handle this perfectly, right? They efficiently manage the chaos of right now. But eventually, you got to look beyond the present moment. As a leader, you have to ask the big, strategic questions. Things like, which products sold the most during the last 5 years? Or, which city consistently generates the highest revenue? And here's the catch. Operational databases are fantastic for the present, but they really struggle to answer these massive historical questions. I mean, they just aren't built to efficiently analyze 5 years of deep historical data while simultaneously processing a live customer's checkout cart.
And this right here perfectly illustrates why we need a totally different solution. A data warehouse is basically a massive central vault designed exclusively to help management understand long-term business performance. So instead of supporting those rapid-fire daily transactions, it pulls data from multiple sources and stores organized historical data. It's an environment entirely optimized for business intelligence, in-depth analysis, and big-picture strategic decision-making.
Moving on to Section 2, Characteristic 1, Subject-Oriented. So this is where we really start to see how a data warehouse fundamentally differs from your standard database. While your daily operational databases organize things by business process, processing orders, accepting payments, printing shipping labels, handling returns, a data warehouse completely shifts that focus. It reorganizes all of that information around major business subjects for targeted analysis. Instead of looking at a payment process, the data warehouse gives you these beautifully organized subject folders for your customers, your products, your sales, and your employees. It's like a giant, perfectly sorted filing cabinet.
Okay, let's test this logic with a real-world scenario just to make sure we're grasping the application here. Imagine another major e-commerce platform, Flipkart, is launching a brand new rewards program, and they want to identify their absolute most loyal customers. Think about our previous slide for a second. Which subject area should they analyze to find this out?
Well, if you guess the customer subject area, you're spot on. By clicking into that customer subject folder, the business can instantly access dashboards on purchase frequency, customer segmentation, and lifetime value. It strips away all the irrelevant, noisy data about warehouse shipping logistics and focuses solely on the subject of the customer itself. And honestly, that is the true power of being subject-oriented.
All right, let's jump to Section 3, Characteristic 2, Integrated.
Now, this characteristic tackles the reality of messy, real-world data, and it is arguably the most labor-intensive but absolutely critical step in building a reliable architecture. Just imagine the chaos of a large organization like a hospital, where independent systems are storing completely inconsistent records for the exact same person. You've got a patient database, a laboratory database, billing, and insurance. And just look at the entries. One system says Rina Pagare, another says Dr. Rina Pagare, and yet another just says R. Pagare. And on top of all that, you have different date formats, varying currencies, and mismatched gender values across all these systems. Obviously, if you try to analyze this as is, your results are going to be completely skewed.
So to fix this mess, the data has to pass through what we call an ETL pipeline, which stands for extract, transform, and load. Inside this pipeline, the data undergoes strict integration steps before it ever even reaches the warehouse. We're talking about really deep cleaning, aggressively removing duplicates, standardizing those clashing date and currency formats, and thoroughly validating the records.
The crucial point here is that integration completely strips away all those inconsistencies to produce one single, reliable profile. Out of all that initial chaos, we finally get one consistent version of the truth, Dr. Rina Pagare, paired with a standard date format, a consistent currency, and a unified customer ID. It's a total game changer.
Take a quick moment to consider what would actually happen to management strategy if we just dumped all that raw, conflicting data together in one place. Why is data cleaning and integration absolutely necessary before loading anything into our central repository?
Honestly, the answer is trust. Without data cleaning, your reports are just worthless. If your CEO sees 3 completely different revenue numbers because of duplicate records, they're going to lose faith in the system immediately. Integration guarantees highly reliable data. It completely eliminates confusing duplicates, which in turn produces highly accurate analytical reports. Ultimately, this clean, unified data is the ultimate safeguard. It's what drives better, far more confident strategic business decisions.
This brings us to Section 4, Characteristic 3, Time Variant.
So while operational systems live entirely in the now, a data warehouse lives in the always. Unlike operational systems that just simply overwrite old data to show customers' current status, a data warehouse meticulously stores historical records over many, many years. It attaches a specific time element to absolutely everything. So, for example, if a customer's address changes, the warehouse doesn't just delete the old one, it records that they lived at address A until 2023 and address B from 2024 onward.
And this time-variant capability is exactly what allows a company to visualize massive, long-term trends, like looking at a seasonal Diwali sales comparison over 3 consecutive years. Because the warehouse retained that historical data with really precise timestamps, analysts can just pull up seasonal patterns, compare revenue year over year, map out stock market movements, or even check regional sales trends over half a decade. It's incredibly powerful. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. Why isn't a snapshot of today's success enough to run a successful enterprise? Why is that deep, time-variant historical data actually more valuable to a CEO than just knowing what's sold today?
Well, it's because the past is the key to the future, right? Historical data is exactly what gives leaders the vital context they need to identify those long-term trends. It's the absolute foundation that allows algorithms to predict future sales patterns. It accurately measures true business growth over time, rather than just celebrating a single good week. Simply put, this time dimension strongly supports future strategic planning, letting executives know precisely where the market is heading next based on where it's already been.
And finally, Section 5, Summary, One Consistent Truth.
Let's synthesize all of this into the 3 main pillars you really need to remember for any professional architecture discussion. First up, subject-oriented, meaning it's organized around business subjects rather than daily operations, which is perfect for something like customer analysis. Second, integrated, meaning it provides clean and unified data, completely solving that messy hospital information system problem we talked about. And third, time variant, meaning historical data is securely stored over years, which allows for massive, long-term Amazon sales trend analysis.
So, when you combine a subject-oriented organization, strict integrated consistency, and a deep time-variant history, what do you get? You get the ultimate engine for business intelligence. This formula right here is the absolute bedrock of strategic decision-making in the modern corporate world. It's exactly how data is transformed from just operational noise into actionable gold.
But, our journey into data architecture isn't quite finished yet. I want to leave you with this final, kind of provocative question for next time. Once all this clean, historical, subject-oriented data successfully enters the warehouse, what actually happens to it? You might have heard whispers of a 4th characteristic, non-volatile. So why is its non-volatile nature the final key to the entire puzzle? Think on that as you process everything we've covered today. Keep learning, keep analyzing, and I will catch you in the next explainer.